We have such sights to show you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Four Dead Losers podcast. We're the three of the Four Dead Losers. I'm Ramito.
Adam.
Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about Evil Dead Bird. Ooh, spooky. Adam, this is our bonus episode. What'd you think of the movie?
I thought it was pretty good. I definitely was going in a little concerned because, again, of course, I think we're at a point now, especially this year, with how many good horror movies we have, that I feel like there's a lot of what would you say? They're influencers or wannabe influencers that are like trying to, before the movie's officially released, like dog on it, like, oh no, it's awful, and so I was like going in like, man, did they really mess up this movie or like mess up this franchise? But I thought it was good. I thought that it progressed exactly like an Evil Dead movie. I felt like they kind of streamlined some things pretty well throughout the movie, whereas I think in other movies sometimes it's taken a while for things to develop in specific ways, but it didn't feel like this movie did that. It felt like once everything started really happening, it just kind of like just went to 100 and stayed there like for
a
the
long time.
Yeah. Overall I think it was just really well done. I would say for me, now that I've had time to sit and digest it, I would say it's definitely a highly rated movie this year for me. Maybe it's not cracking top 1 or 2, but I think it was really well done. I would say it's probably, I'd give it about an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? That's pretty good. Pretty good. Jordan, non-spoiler thoughts. What did you think of the movie?
So like Adam said, a lot of it is on 100 for a really long time, which people were worried about. This movie is one of the longer ones. It might be the longest Evil Dead. I don't know.
It's at
like an
it's
hour
either
50.
the longest or it clocks in just shy of being the longest.
But yeah, I feel like we get a lot of action for a long time. Apparently it leans a lot into French horror, which I've not really like explored. I feel like the trailers gave away some things, like maybe in terms of kills or whatever, but it didn't really give me an idea of like what I was going into. This is also, we'll dig more into it. This is one of maybe the only movie. I know that they all kind of go on their adventures, especially the original trilogy, that we're not like following specifically like the search for the book or trying to get the book. Like it kind of focuses on something else.
A different artifact.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah, so it has the Deadites functioning in different ways, which is, I think, is an interesting approach. Overall, I feel like the movie's really serious. It's pretty damn brutal. Like it's, I don't want to call it bleak, but I mean it's really bleak. I feel like Evil Dead in general is just one of those series where like nostalgia will play a part positively and negatively. Like for me, I'm biased going into it because it's Evil Dead and I want to like it. Whereas I think for some people, like maybe they hold the original trilogy like so high up that whatever comes out now will never be that good. Like they're always gonna kind of taint the new ones. But overall, I really really like the movie. I'd probably put it at the same level that I had like the Bone Temple. So one of my favorites of the year. I agree that like maybe it doesn't crack the kind of feeling that Obsession gave me, or like in terms of scoring wise. Also, I don't know how unpopular this is going to be with y'all. I'm glad Justin isn't here because he might roast me for this. I feel like, I'm not saying I agree with this or disagree because I'm not ready to put my stake in the ground. I feel like we're at the point where the argument could be made that the 3 most recent Evil Dead movies are better than the original 3.
What?
I'm not saying I agree with that, but when you take out the nostalgia factor, obviously they have way different vibes. The original 3 are a lot more campy and like humor oriented. Yeah, but I think if somebody brought that up to me and told me they liked the most recent 3 more, I don't feel like I'd be like shocked or think that it's a crazy take.
That's something that I want to talk about later. But
yeah. Overall, really good movie. I'm not ready. I know we've done Rise before, and I don't remember what I gave that. And I think rewatching it, I'd probably give it a higher score than what I gave it previous. So I don't know where I sit between those two. I did not rewatch Rise going into this, so overall, I don't know. I was telling Amanda earlier that I locked myself in a tough spot because I gave Bone Temple a certain score and other movies a certain score. And I feel like it has to match those. Like, I gave Mummy an 8.5. This is clearly better than The Mummy to me.
This is clearly better than The Mummy.
I gave Bone Temple a 9.5, so I'm gonna give this a 9.5.
9.5
on the Jordan, on the heavily weighted Jordan scale.
Non-spoiler thoughts for myself. I really did enjoy this movie. I thought it was really good. It hit a lot of the points that I really like. Just like all three of us have been, or just like the two of y'all have been saying, it's a really brutal movie. It's crazy how far some of the kills go, in my opinion, and they still showed it in a theater without an NC-17 rating, which is something that I want to get into a little bit.
Which we talked about. The director mentioned they had to cut some things out, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, there's one specific scene. So, with that being said, again, I'm going to have to split this into an objective versus subjective. I feel like that's just going to be a theme with me with Evil Dead movies. Objectively, or subjectively, this is, for me, this is like a 9 out of 10. They didn't quite scratch some of like the really what kept it from going higher than that were just like the references. There weren't enough, in my opinion, to the other ones. And like, I understand that they're doing their own thing and they're separate from the other ones, but like, just the phrase "dead by dawn" is such like a staple in these movies that they don't say it in this one. They do say you'll be dead by dawn, but it's just once, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. So like, I was like, oh, come on, man. But really, that was my only gripe with it. Objectively, this is probably like an 8 out of 10. I can see it's what were you saying about Obsession, that it's more palatable to regular viewers or to normal?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Like, I think,
and this one definitely is not.
I mean, now granted, that Obsession definitely goes to some extremes, but it's not like the how crazy that these movies get. I mean, even if you've watched like the original, you know how like ridiculous even some of the like specs were back then too, you know. And i.e. the ankle getting slashed.
Slashed.
And it's like the Play-Doh coming out.
At the end
claymation.
Claymation.
At the end of Evil Dead 2, where the tree spirit comes through the fucking wall. Yeah, there's a lot.
I know,
Evil Ash.
There were some people complaining about like certain things in this movie, and I was thinking, like, are we forgetting that like the Deadites or whatever, like the book can basically do anything, like we've seen anything possible. I also find it interesting, real quick, before we like do the chronological stuff. The director did an AMA recently, or like an interview, and talked about how like the lore's super chaotic, like basically there are no rules, which is kind of what we're covering, and that he was trying to have fun, like give new things but also leave room for like fans to make their own connections and kind of piece everything together, which I think is interesting, because to me, like, it goes out of its way to maybe, whether that's in the book or whatever, kind of try to connect certain movies, like trying to bring 2013 and Rise into the, like, make sure that it's implied that it's all still canon. But I do agree it's this weird balance of like giving enough without like going over the top with fan service, because there's like things they could clearly do that would like really give into the, I just find it an interesting like juggle of, and same thing with Rise, like there's certain things that allude to the past, but it's never like outwardly just, and I don't know if that's leaving room for like Wrath or future movies to add their own thing, or just to kind of keep it, like, I don't want to say confusing, but like it's more interesting for the fan base.
With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the spoiler section of the video. If you haven't seen this movie yet, I feel like the three of us would highly recommend you watching it. With that being said, this is going to be your spoiler warning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. So right off the rip, we're gonna do today's episode a little bit differently. While usually we'll go beat by beat and tell you everything that happens, there are 2 specific scenes or deaths that I think that YouTube wouldn't like us to do. So we're gonna do today a little bit differently. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I guess just talking about the synopsis just really quick to give a nice pretty bow, and then we'll go into more of a discussion, if that's cool with y'all.
Yeah, I'm down.
So basically what happens is we have our main character. Do you remember her name? Is it Soul, or is that the actress's name?
I think it's Alice.
Alice, that sounds right. So our main character, Alice, she has an abusive husband. Do you remember his name? He's not Joseph, right?
Will.
Joseph. Will?
Yeah, Joseph is the brother.
Okay. So Alice and Will are married. He's abusive towards her. Will ends up dying in a car accident, which actually occurs because of Jessica from Evil Dead Rise, right? She comes back from the
Lake.
From the lake, yeah, and does what did you call it? A Hellraiser kill with the hooks?
Oh, with the
Right.
hooks, yeah.
Yeah, that's the kill I saw people complaining about, and I'm like, bro,
It's
you've seen
fine.
everything.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I like this just because I feel like this is the first time since the originals we've had, even though it's following two different families per se, like it acts as a sequel in that like, the beginning and end of Rise tie directly into this and flows out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. So they go ahead, get all his funeral arrangements done. They decide to cremate his body right in the casket, which I think is when we're first introduced to Will coming back as a Deadite. We don't get to see him, but he infects the dad. Then everybody goes home to the house that they left Joseph, I think. And from there,
slowly infects.
Slowly infects everybody. Joseph is doing research for his book. Joseph's grandfather is the one who made all the tapes that everybody listens to.
Which I'm pretty sure in the very beginning of the movie, prior to like the river scene, we see him like he's listening to the tapes, like he's kept all his grandfather's stuff, and he like pulls something out of the wall that like is yet to be revealed to us.
Yeah. And then just like Adam saying, everybody gets infected from there, and then Evil Dead stuff happens.
Normal, yeah.
Yeah. The main point in this one is that they're trying to get the Kandarian dagger, right? Because that's the only thing that can separate the Deadite from the body. Then there's like this really tense scene where Deadite Joseph is attacking Alice through the ceiling, and she's trying all of these different daggers. And one of them that she tries is the dagger from the second movie, I believe.
Which people were saying they don't know if it's meant to be the same one or a replica, like, right, the lore behind why it did or didn't work.
You see, in my mind, it is the correct one. So, like, the way that I justified it is that it is the correct one, but these Deadites come from a different book.
That's what I saw people saying. What I'm juggling with in my head, obviously they want the daggers either way.
Yeah.
What's hurting my head is that, like, whenever I try to work this out in my mind, is that the illustrations of the book we see and, like, the photocopies in the grandfather's journal are 2013, but we know that this is a Deadite from the Rise book. Like, so it hurts my head. I guess it'd be after the daggers either way. Like, maybe he does have those other two daggers. Like, if that is the real dagger, then it would work from the ones from that book. Unless so, like, whatever dagger worked must have been the one that...
Unless there's, like, a master dagger.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she stabs him with the one from Evil Dead 2, and he's like, ooh, nice try, but that's not it, until eventually she finds it, and then is able to fight off the rest of the Deadites. Will then makes this final appearance that I think comes out in the trailer. It's the one where it's the burning house and his body is there.
I missed that. I didn't realize it was in the trailer.
Yeah, it was
like,
in the trailer.
For a second, I thought we were never... Like, he totally, like, slipped my mind after we didn't see him in the... home. He did the Michael Myers entrance.
True. From Halloween
the
Kills.
entire fire department showed up and tried to fight him.
That was a really good... You know, Halloween Kills is a shitty movie, but that scene is really good.
The whole first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, everything else is butt cheeks. What's it good? But I know you like when he goes Super Saiyan at the end.
I do, bro. They're all trying to kick him when he's down.
Evil dies tonight. Nope.
And then he decides to hide for 4 years, because why not?
In the fucking sewer. Yeah, he eats Master Roshi down there.
R.I.P.,
bro. So then it's the whole final battle with the Deadite that we've seen in all these other movies, right? Between Alice and Will. And then, Alice ends up victorious. She has the dagger. EMTs come. And then we're actually met with 2 after-credit scenes.
She left behind the other daggers with that.
Yeah. So I guess we'll kind of work our way backwards. What you think of the first after... Oh, so the first after-credit scene, during the movie, Grandma becomes a Deadite. I think it's really gross how she gets the dentures, the infected one, and then licks it up and then puts it back in Grandma.
So, good thing to note is that the grandmother is suffering from dementia, so she is in and out of like things that are happening, but mostly she's like seeing things from a different viewpoint and perspective.
Yeah.
And she accuses
Joseph's
Joseph's girlfriend of stealing from her, and she ends up becoming the second deadite.
Yeah.
And when she comes to visit the house, the grandmother is the one that lets her back up from the basement. And of course, like, I mean, I think that's the box, right? One of the boxes, there always has to be a deadite in the basement that somehow gets out.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea with this movie is that the deadites know about the dagger, right?
Yes.
And so I think this is, and I could be wrong because it's been a while since I've seen the originals, but like this seems to be one of the first ones where there's a continuation of like the deadite like mentality of like, hey, we need to accomplish this specific thing that's not just cause terror, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is a new like plot point.
And so their idea is that yes, we're going to cause terror, but we need to get information from these people and not just completely like just obliterate them, right? Because they need them. And so what ends up happening is, like you were saying, to infect the grandmother, which I don't think we've ever seen this before. She essentially knows that she can't get any information from her, but thinks that if she can infect her, that maybe if she does know, she'll be able to like tell them. So I'm thinking there's that, not symbiotic, but well, I guess maybe is it? No, not symbiotic. What's the, when you have like the multi, like everybody can think the same thoughts, like
a hive mind.
Hive mind. There we go. And so she basically like takes out the dentures, puts the dentures in her mouth, and like licks it, and then puts it back in. So basically, the grandmother, gets infected. Which I don't, like I said, I don't think we've ever seen before. We've seen the scratch marks infect. We've seen bites infect. We've even
seen weapons infect, right? In Rise, when Ellie goes with the tattoo gun. At
yes. So it's like a bodily fluid thing, but then people always complain about when they attack the deadites and the blood gets on them that they don't get infected.
That's another thing. Like, it's never really had a consistent, which is just kind of part of the thing. Like,
which is fine.
One thing that confused me was the mom in this one, because I feel like she turns, but then she's still kind of in this weird like.
So I think that goes with one of the themes, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Because don't her eyes turn partially, but then she's kind of in and out of this.
I think so.
Yeah. I feel like she's not fully like dead-eye mentality.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to that. But I guess going back to your point. So in the movie, grandma's infected. She's one of the infected. She ends up getting this, and I know you said it was very serious, but it's really not serious anytime the grandma's in the scene.
Grandma was like
so she already has one, like she's paraplegic. So she only has one leg. And then she gets strapped into a chair, like it's an elevator chair, which they reference multiple times in the movie. And that's how she gets the deadite away from her grandma. And so I guess towards the end, as the house is on fire, she is sawing.
So at the end of that fight, quote unquote fight between Alice and grandma, when Alice sends grandma down, grandma makes it to the bottom
and starts just
because she broke the picture frames that are on the wall and
then
she starts sawing at her leg.
Which I was wondering where this was gonna go, because later on when the house is burning, we see like just her leg still in the chair, but her upper half is gone.
And so basically she's like crawled her way from this burning house like at least probably like 3 miles on the ground, which I told them, I'm like, I think this is one of my gripes where it's like they've already established that deadites can float and hover and fly, but in this part they literally have her like dragging herself. And then just like every other horror movie, somebody stops and is like, hey, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then she basically like bites her leg, and that's how we continue the infection.
That's the first after credits.
Which we have, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I'm gonna assume everything is intentional.
Everything is, yes.
We have a red Jeep, the same thing that's in 2013. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I'm gonna say it is.
They couldn't get Ash's car in this.
I was telling,
Apparently
they
it shows
did.
up.
It does.
But I missed it.
It's when they're sending grandma up the stairs when she's not a deadite, and they
apparently there's a photo of it with.
They show grandma going from one corner of the screen to the other, and in the background there's the photo of the car, of the yellow car. Where is it? Of the you know it's hidden behind one of those pictures.
Bruce one.
Yeah, so there's a picture of the yellow car. There's a picture of Bruce Campbell, and I was I telling you this or was I telling Joyce this? But I was like, why do they have a picture of Bruce Campbell? Because in this movie he's Ash Williams, and it's his headshot. So
which is funny because people are like basically asking like it's probably just an Easter egg that has no like tie to it. But people were like online were trying to connect like maybe he was friends with the grandpa or he's like
maybe I don't know.
They should use his voice for the grandpa, bro. It'd just be like the multiverse.
True. I was telling Adam this that the person who shows up in the Jeep I thought was gonna be either Pablo. Or I think her name is Deanna, or that might be the actress's name from Ash versus the Evil Dead, and I thought they were just gonna cap her. That's not what happened.
That would have been cool. Apparently the car also shows up at the restaurant or the funeral home, one of the two. I never rewatched.
I didn't see it. And then we get the second one.
That got me. You didn't like it? It got me so hyped.
I think this is where I get concerned, but I mean, it's the same. I'm assuming same directors for the next one, so maybe. I guess we can hold on hope.
Even though Wrath is like in the 70s, so
so Wrath is a prequel to the first one.
I feel like it's not gonna go anywhere, but I'll let Rami to explain this.
So in the second after credit scene, we are back at the funeral home, and there are a bunch of urns that are on a shelf, and it's a funeral home manager or worker, and she's talking to her daughter to bring her daughter to work day. And the daughter's asking, why are there a bunch of urns and they all have different name tags that are still in the funeral home? And the manager is like, oh, well, because, like, sometimes these people don't get picked up, but I just like to hold on to them just in case, like for a few months, just in case their family decides to come and get them. And while we're looking at the different names, one of them is for Ellie. Last name is a B. I forget what it is.
Bixley.
I think it's Bixley, yeah.
Yeah, which there is a connection that is the same last name as the professor from The Mummy that is the one that helps the dad kind of with the uncovering of the lore.
Of the lore, yeah.
So that's where they're saying that connection is.
So Ellie... It's Ellie from Evil Dead Rise. This Ellie over here that we have on our wall in two places. And so I think there's like a power surge or something, right? The lights flicker, and the little girl starts looking in the mirror, and then her reflection it's replaced with Alyssa Sutherland, Ellie, in her regular form, and then I think they like touch fingers right through the mirror, and then psych, she's actually in IRL in actual deadite form, and what'd she say? She says mommy's back, and then like, offs the little girl.
Or not the kid kill.
I might.
I'll let Adam go first because I have some comments.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not a big fan of it. I like the actress, I like the character. I don't know what the reasoning is for bringing it back, and I read somewhere, I don't know how true it is, that somebody went to a preview with the directors and that they said the studio was the one that said they needed to do this, which
that's interesting because the director, I think recently again reiterated that the production asked him to do it. So I don't know.
Or somebody.
So I don't know if it was a Raimi request or if it was a Warner Brothers request or what. He was like forced into.
Well, I was saying that's what worries me because it's Sony, and Sony does not know how to keep things well and good. Right. Like Sony always messes up something, i.e. animated Spider-Man, i.e. like they're always doing something. But and then the other thing was how. So the idea was everybody was like, how is that possible? She basically was like just
put in a wood chipper.
Yeah, she was in a chipper, which she was an amalgamation of like 3 different people. And there was I don't think very much left. So the fact that like, oh yeah, we're just gonna put this together and like
that's what I have a problem with.
Yes.
Because Evil Dead Rise specifically mentions that like dismemberment like doesn't work. Like so I'm not shocked that she could come back. What I'm confused about is how did they get her ashes? Like they get scooped up.
Well, and so my wife's thought was that there was a hand, or somebody said there was a hand left like at some point, so they just burned that. And I'm like, what?
I think Ida might have said
that.
I'm like fingerprint it.
Yeah, I'm like what? But then somebody had brought up that because the Deadites are from a mirror dimension, that's how she was able to come back, because she had some little bit of like parts left here, but she was in a mirror communicating, and that girl basically like kind of had a connection there because of touching her. So I don't know. There's a whole, I'm sure, lore thing they're gonna have to come up with to like explain that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever gonna. I don't know. I have a strong feeling. I don't know where the series goes after Wrath, like because I don't know what kind of lore that's gonna establish or like build on. and I'm assuming that like franchise is going to continue to happen after that. I don't know if the character is going to be brought back. I feel like
The
I don't
character,
know.
which one?
Ellie.
Ellie.
I think.
I
Oh, you
don't-
think it's just like a fan service?
I don't know if this is a
Ooh,
one-off
then,
or
yeah.
like after Wrath there are plans to bring her back, which I'm not.
I don't think it can be a one-off because she's in a Deadite form.
And
No,
she's
but like-
popular,
but like, I
never
mean,
seen again.
yeah, like, oh, if Wrath goes back in time and they tie up everything and that's how they want to end it, they just never make any other movies.
Because like, what if
So
the grandma's not going to come back? For example, if we didn't see Jessica in the beginning of this movie, I don't think anybody would have questioned like, oh, she's still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible that like Ellie just lives and it's But I know what you mean. Like it because it's Sony and like there's movie studios involved. It is a prime way. Rise made a lot of money. It would be a good way to make a lot of money, and like people really love that character. Example. I don't know. I think as long as Raimi is involved as like signing off and giving advice and basically like controlling the entity of Evil Dead, I'll feel safe about it. But if the time comes when he sells the rights or whatever, then I think.
Or when they pass it off to another director, producer, as we've seen from like other studios in horror movies. As soon as like James Wan leaves a product, it's awful.
That's my fear. Because right now it seems like Raimi is hand picking every single director.
Yeah.
But if that gets pushed off to like, okay, now Sony. My biggest fear is this franchise becoming like a Conjuring thing. Like let me make it palatable to people.
Yeah.
I was telling Adam that my theory with this is that they're gonna do the Avengers, but have it with the Deadites. So Ellie is gonna meet up with whoever, and then
Evil Dead Assemble.
Exactly.
If they bring Ash back, I'm okay with it.
With Evil Ash.
One more time, 80-year-old Ash.
And then the hand.
So my other thing too is that I'm just very confused about Ash, the TV show Ash versus the Evil Dead, right?
People have
And
talked
it's
about
relevant to it's relevant to the franchise because the house that they're in is one that it comes out in Ash versus the Evil Dead. It
does.
One of the authors for the Necronomicon lives there.
They also show like apparently there's Easter eggs that allude to that being her house, but like it's
window?
never. Yeah, which I don't know. Like again, if then they try to push like Ash versus Evil Dead further into the future post this.
That's what I'm getting at. Is that like
because also the way that show ends is like
yes, is that because at the end Ash fights the Canarian demon, which is this giant entity. It's not like you and I size. It's like fucking huge. And he fights it, and then he gets thrown into the future, or I guess he goes into cryo sleep, and then wakes up in the future. But Ash versus the Evil Dead, I think, ended in 2019, 2016, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So, like, did that happen? And then all these other Deadites
That's what people
are still...
wonder. And the director's quote that I pulled from earlier about, like, the lore being chaotic was specifically somebody asking him about, like, the TV show. Because, like, it's still considered as far as, like, Raimi and Campbell talk about it. Like, the TV show is canon to all this. It's just a matter of, like, where does that finale... Does he then go in the future? Like, will that ever get brought up, or is that just something we theorize about?
It might just be pushed further into the future.
But, yeah, it is definitely, like, part of that. Which, in my mind, I kind of just pretend, like... I don't know. The universe works weird. Like, the same way, like, retroactively post the movie being made and, like, with Rise and Burn now... How 2013 is essentially supposed to be a recreation of the same cabin from the original.
But it's not.
But it isn't.
Yeah.
But the Delta's out there. Like, it's just this whole, like...
the other
We've had duplicates before, so...
The other thing that could work, I guess, in their favor is if they go with, like, the dairy treatment, right? Like, everybody who's in dairy knows what's going on, but the moment you get away from dairy, you just start to forget. So maybe that's what it is with the Kandarian demons. Like, you just...
Right.
Or I guess the ending of Ash versus the Evil Dead is that since you're removed from it, you just forget.
It seems like every new movie is, like, trying to connect the lore in some way and pushing it in different directions. Like, for example, we see the introduction of... like the Circle of the Wise Men in this one.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure is supposed to connect to Army of Darkness and that whole thing. So I feel like it's just a matter of where... I think it really is up to the director or writer to decide. Like in Wrath, if they decide to incorporate the TV show or whatever movies, like... There's a lot of possibilities, but I'm interested to see like if they make an attempt
I'm very
at that.
excited. What was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think there was a lot of good moments. I think I think I definitely was worried because you were the one that brought it up that like there was definitely like a specific theme and route that they were going with this movie. So I think you said, was it 2013 that it was addiction or was it addiction was like the theme, and obviously this one was domestic abuse. And I think part of that also just lends into going back to what your comment was about the mom was just unhealthy like family dynamics. I think is a broader scope because obviously that's just one side of it. But going back to the mom, I think at first I had the same confusion, but then once I saw like and understood that was like the full thematic circle, it made sense. So like just for y'all's knowledge, if you have seen the movie or haven't seen the movie, the mom essentially gives herself up to the Deadites because she is with the grandmother who she doesn't realize is infected, and of course Deadites always try to spin like, hey, you know, like come on, it'd be fine, like just join us. And she's like, look, your husband's waiting for you, who she's literally seen basically like not go down after, you know, taking some wounds to the head, and he's just outside the window looking like
second story window
just floating up there.
Oh, I didn't realize
that.
Second
story window, and she just lets this man in the window, essentially like opening it up for the Deadites to get into the house. And basically going back to this sharing of like saliva to help switch her over.
Just really quick, you know what that reminded me of?
What?
Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot, yes.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
With the vampires outside of the window. I can't remember his name, but he like convinces the other people to let him in.
Yeah. And so the wife lets him in, and they like embrace. And so she talks to Alice and is trying to convince her, like, no, it's okay. They're not here to hurt us.
Because she's turned at this point.
No, she's not turned.
Okay, here's my question. When she kisses the father, her eyes turn for a second. A split second.
I think she gets minimally infected, but it still takes a while. Because remember, the grandma didn't turn until she was fully put down to sleep. So like all that time, she got her over there, sat her down, laid her down.
Because I was also wondering, because the mom specifically speaks in like, we are looking for the dagger, as in she is.
Yeah, I think because she's
part of the family.
She's part. Well, and I think it's because the Deadites, going back to the family dynamic thing, is that she is has all this baggage that she cannot handle and physically like do. So she's doing all this because she's in this deep depression that she can't get herself out of, and is not thinking logically. She's just thinking like, I just need something to hold this family together, because she just went from her son going in this fiery crash to not liking the daughter-in-law basically telling her, hey, I'm giving up the restaurant because like, I don't know, I ain't dealing with that. And then like the husband obviously giving off that, I'm sure his behavior as a Deadite is still reflective of how he probably interacted with the mom. Yeah. And she has issues with the grandfather, which is her dad leaving. So she just she has too much to handle and like emotionally can't like reason. So they take advantage of that. So she's not a Deadite until she basically gets, I think she ends up like stabbing Alice, right, or something. Oh no, she's gonna stab Alice. The Deadite tries to get her to take out Alice, and she's like, I'm sorry, like I have to do this, and it's just like, no, you don't. And then she like ties her up and takes her to the bathroom.
Which now that I think about it, like, I don't know. I realize I'm questioning it, but like, I don't remember if it happens in the earlier movies, but like especially Ash vs. Evil Dead, like in the first season we see a character kind of in and out of Deadite behavior anyway. Like, just once they become Deadite doesn't mean they're full Deadite the whole time also. So whether or not she turned...
Right. I think it like played into the fact that like she might have been slightly infected, but like she's giving into them, because she can't control her emotions.
Which is clear like how she is from the beginning of the movie. Like, she's very much giving into like the dad's demands or whatever.
Yeah. Well, that and like again, she just has too much to process with grieving and all the baggage she already complains about previous to the accident. So she just like is just trying to find anything to like latch on to family, right? Because she's like, we need to stick together. That's her thing, right? We need to stick together.
And then Vin Diesel comes out. And someone say family.
He came out in the car.
Should have been drifting the Delta.
Which they should have had 2 cars. No, like how come when they were quote unquote thinking about leaving, there was only one car? The car that Joseph took to leave.
I understand.
But there should have been another car there because how did the parents get there?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was my other thought because I was thinking that because there was always like we got to get out of the car and then the rivers, the flood and the fog. Oh my, the bridge, the only bridge. Oh my goodness.
That's a really good point. They didn't have that in this one.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they needed. Oh, that's the thing. They didn't read. They didn't read it.
You're right.
They didn't read the book.
So that was that also explains why there wasn't a storm.
It wasn't a storm. And the Deadite got really far away from the house because we get the other
grandma or Will.
No, the dad.
Oh yeah.
The dad like when he basically turns the girlfriend, which is insane too.
So are we seeing ash or snow falling in this movie?
Ash. It's Ash.
I thought it was Ash.
It's Ash.
Okay.
So, but yes, going back.
Ash Williams, but.
But yes, going back to my favorite part. That's a long-winded way of not answering the question. I think I just enjoyed how they wrapped up everything into the theme and they did it appropriately. I think that's what I was trying to get to was that. Sometimes they can use that like a theme and they try to hit you over the head with it and it doesn't land. I think it really did play well into like the theme of like the unhealthy family dynamics, which can potentially lead into some of the abusive things because there was a moment in the movie where she's distressed and she it's when the brother Joseph is like literally getting Superman through the whole entire house, and he's like, right? He's like, you need to go up go find up the attic, and she's like crawling and not getting up and standing up and running and doing anything.
It's a really good shot.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, oh, it's one of those typical horror movie tropes, like she can't, but it's because. The whole time, and they get to that part later, I think, in the attic. Was it the attic or the bathroom? No, it was the bathroom, where she has the full, scope of the, relationship. Because she yells at the mom. Yes, restroom. Where we learn to find out that, yes, there was, an unhealthy balance within the life, and the husband was awful to her. And so that's why she was frozen, because a lot of the time up to that point, it was, PTSD.
Yes.
She cannot physically function, whereas the mom can't emotionally function and reason and thought. Alice can't physically function and do the things she knows she needs to do because she's shuddered by her emotion, just the thought of everything, because it's all spilling back to her, right? Because they're good about that. The Deadeyes are very good about finding your weaknesses and really and digging
twisting
in
the blade.
And so I thought they did that really well, and they did it appropriately in a way that it made sense and it really played into Alice's character. So when you finally get that turnaround where she's able to flip the script and take charge, I thought it was really well done. The whole bathroom scene of her basically digging into the mom, and then that's when the mom finally turns. I think that was good. I think so. I guess character growth. She was able to grow past that trauma that she had.
Yeah. You have a favorite part?
I do. I'm about to do an Adam, and I got a bunch of things to
go for it.
Go for it.
I agree about what you're saying. I feel like it really covers the main topic or past trauma in a really. I feel effective way. I feel it does it in a thoughtful way that is very realistic, outside of the possessions. But and even less so what you're saying. I feel Joseph his name's Joseph, right?
The brother
kind of suffers from that also. We don't know what his and his brother's dynamic, but there's a large part where he seems kind of unable to take action.
He's a bitch boy.
Yeah, he's a bitch boy. Until he hits his breaking point.
I think that's his thing, right?
You even see that in the beginning when he has the opportunity to stop his brother, and his brother basically dares him to, and it's
and he does.
So right, you kind of get this idea that Will was, and his parents were probably like that with him also. There's probably some trauma there as well.
Because even the Deadite dad tells Joseph, "You should be in the coffin, not Will."
Right.
Which is again Deadite's really.
And
really
that they didn't know he was a Deadite at that point, or I guess he was still battling with it.
Yeah, he was barely.
Because it was
turning.
at the dinner scene.
Oh, that was so uncomfortable. The dog.
Oh. I have comments about this. I have comments about this. Some people were really upset about this. I'm not saying it. You shouldn't be upset about it.
I was upset about it.
But what I'm saying is, he literally comes back like 10 minutes later.
So he comes back and it's okay.
And then he gets killed again.
You know what part upset me about the dog? The dog dies, by the way.
And it made me, when it first happened with the dad,
so sad.
I had to I turned from the screen.
Well, they set it up. That was such an
Yes,
awfully
yeah.
tense scene.
I knew it was going to happen, but.
What upset me about the dog is that his name, the dog in the movie, I can't remember if it's Max or Dax.
It's Max.
It's Max?
Yeah.
The name of the dog, the actor, is Dax.
So
it's
they can pick the same name.
Why didn't you just pick the same name?
They're like, no, it's already in the script. It's on paper. I can't rewrite it.
Change it.
You have to pay him royalties. Yeah, I honestly wish we would have seen more of the dog once it's
Me too.
possessed. I feel like it kind of
that cost too much money, man. They had to save it for CGI Vecna at the end.
I do want to get to that. I want to get to your thoughts on that. But yeah, people are upset about that. I get it, but also it's one of those movies like where there's children that get hurt in the post credit. It's like the Terrifier thing. Obviously not as like over the top, but like there's kind of no boundaries in that. Like I don't know, drawing the line and being like I don't want to watch this movie because animal abuse isn't okay. Like I don't think that's the point. The point is that it is messed up. Like we know it's messed up. It's not saying that that's not messed up.
And you could pretty much tell, right? Like everybody except, or in the Evil Dead movies, the way it usually goes is that everybody except the main person's gonna croak.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Also, I thought the dad and the sister-in-law, Joseph's wife, are just amazing Deadites in this movie. Those are like and the grandma too.
Yeah,
like
good.
they really, I feel like they're a good ensemble. Of unique characteristics. The dad is like fucking psycho. We also get like the scenes of them crawling on the roof and stuff, which I thought
I'm surprised. I was telling him, I'm surprised Joseph was still alive at one point. I like when I say he was Superman, I mean literally like I'm pretty sure at one point
they
he
drop
like
him from the third story.
Yeah, like
dude, he is getting again. Y'all goofed on me, but I call this movie like the most physical. I feel like this. I can't remember the previous ones having so much like
Deadite strength,
like combat, like not just like weapon combat, but like I feel like they had like fight choreography. Like they were like full, really long periods of time, really long shots.
You didn't see Army of Darkness? They have a whole siege at
he
the
jumps
movie.
up in the well.
He does jump up the well. They have a whole siege.
There is a well scene, and then there's a scene when he's fighting Evil Ash at the end, and they're doing like the whole lightsaber battle thing. Yeah, I don't know. It was just really intense and like on 100. There's some great long shots and like angles that get hit that I feel like are unique. Like you can tell that is the director's style. Overall, though, my favorite scene, if I had to pick one now, a scene that had me like holy shit in the moment, is the car scene.
That was good.
When they drive off.
You know what it was? I almost wanted to like go frame by frame. I feel like they stole the Wolverine Deadpool choreo from that fight scene.
It is similar.
That's funny.
And I thought like I don't know the like I don't remember the Joseph's wife's name. I don't remember
either.
But like it starts with their hands get like slammed in the door,
which
like
is in the
fingers
trailer.
are off.
And then they like
and I thought
the one pinky left and it's like
and they're yellow like the Delta. I thought like okay, like that's gonna be the like crazy shit that happens in the scene, and it's just like the dad kicking her ass.
The shit out of
and even then Joseph had the opportunity to try to kill him and he didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think it plays into the whole like. You know, again, character development.
He literally runs away.
He just runs. He pulls the 28 weeks later. He just like says, "Nah, I'm out."
The dad, right?
Yeah, which at the end we do get. There's the moment when the daggers are being used that like, the dagger is ultimately used to kill Joseph, like Deadite Joseph, and then the moment that he like turns back to his normal self right at the end, that I think is supposed to be like this emotional like, damn, you kind of feel bad for the guy. But it's his fault. No,
well, but I think part of it, he like before that though, his one like growth was that he had decided he was gonna go after like he was gonna try to protect her right from the Deadites, like essentially fighting
Alice.
Yeah, protecting Alice, trying to stop them, and then the dad. Yeah, and the mom just or the dad really just.
There's also the casket squeaking was a highlight for me when they're like. At the funeral, the most awkward funeral. There's only 4 people there.
I would think this nightclub owner, his employees would show up. Like none of his employees.
We're getting this like this song playing, and then the song just cuts out, and they're wheeling out the casket.
No, I thought it was gonna fall over. They set that up so
I
much.
thought it was too.
They were setting up the expectation. I thought.
Which I love the soundtrack. I know some people weren't fans of it. I liked it a lot. But yeah, I thought that was funny. Like there were a few moments here and there, especially with the grandma, that were really funny.
The lack of employees showing up to their boss's funeral just shows you how much of a shitty person.
That's what I thought, because some people were complaining, like, why would they do a funeral like that? Like, in terms of why would the director make that choice? But I think that is the point. Like, bro, his own, like, his own widow doesn't want to be there for him. Like, doesn't have a speech ready, obviously, because of the circumstances. Like, he's probably an asshole to everybody. A few quick things before I pass it off to you. In the show, how you mentioned we're in Ruby's house, I remember that, like, there's a point in the show that she uses a dagger also, so I don't know if that's, like, a nod to that.
I need to rewatch the show. It's been so long.
I find it interesting in terms of... Yeah, I'm not all the way through it. I've just kind of spoiled it for myself. In terms of, like, what we mentioned, like, in the very beginning of this video about what the director gives and doesn't give, I find it interesting that in the recordings, like, right, we know it's 1983 whenever these were recorded. There's certain things in the journal that we get a quick peek of. Like, people had to screenshot it and, like, look through it. Like, there are name-dropped, like, paragraphs mentioning, like, Professor Noby, how he, like, is accused for killing Henrietta and, the other one. Who's the other one? And Annie. Like, there are written things that show up on screen that, like, refer to that aren't in the tapes. So, like, just quick Easter eggs like that.
It's also the news clipping from the 2013 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a news clipping. I just like how it kind of, like, again, it implies that everything is canon. I'm still interested to see how the show wraps in. But also, I want to know what parts of this movie, since we talked about the post-credit and stuff, there was an interview I saw with Bruce Campbell where they asked him about, like, continuing to be an executive producer and stuff. And he mentioned, and I think he was specifically referring to this movie, like, right, part of him and Sam Raimi's job is to, like, give advice and say, like, no, do this or maybe don't do that. But that sometimes they don't follow that advice anyway. So I wonder what was done in this movie that, like, maybe was advised against, that maybe, like, added to the lore or whatever. But, yeah, overall, I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite scene, but the car stands out to me.
The car? For me, it's the one that almost got them the N17 rating.
Oh, that scene is
The
good.
dishwasher scene.
So there's...
I mean, it's in the preview. They pretty much spoiled it in the preview.
No, when Joseph has the door. And
No, not him falling on the dishwasher.
Oh, okay.
When he finally bursts out.
Yeah, so in the movie, there's I guess now three. I completely forgot about the how brutal the car scene is. But there's three specific scenes why we're not going beat for beat and one of them being the car scene. Just like the detail, us going into that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
The other one is what the dad does to himself with the firearm from the car. And then the third one is the dishwasher scene. So this one right here. So basically what happens is that Joseph's girlfriend is on the floor. I think Alice had kicked her or something like that. So she falls on the ground and Joseph gets the door from the dishwasher and basically, cuts her out of the movie.
It's one of those scenes that, like, it goes on.
Yes.
And it was probably cut, like you said.
Yeah, so...
I mean, it's still essentially an obsession brick scene, essentially.
Yeah.
We're getting, like, 10 smashes. But, like...
So, this scene was supposed to be longer, but they had to cut its length in order to keep it a rated R movie. And, like... Oh, I wish I can't wait until we get, like, a director's cut or something so we can see the entire thing.
Yeah, I want some of these expanded. Which is funny. The first time I watched it, before I knew what was going to happen at the end, like the reveal, it totally slipped my mind. At first I thought that the funeral home one, when Will comes out of the casket, was supposed to be one, and I thought they, like, purposely didn't show you what happened to the mortician guy because of that. But then I realized they just didn't want to show Will yet.
Yeah.
Like, we only really see his shoulder. The car scene has, like, I think, like, the headrest is the most memorable part, or, like, plays on later in the movie. And then, yeah, the scene with the dad specifically, like, his solo scene, I don't know. I know, like, Deadites don't have rules, and they go through extreme shit. Like, literally, at the end of the movie, we see Ellie brought back after being shredded. But just, like, witnessing that happen really, like, I don't know. I was shocked that you don't leave the movie after that. Like, it happens multiple times, and I was like, holy shit, the dad is crazy as hell. Yeah, I do want to talk about the final battle, but I'll let y'all. I just want to know y'all's thoughts because I've seen mixed opinions on
I thought it was
the
fine.
Terminator CGI.
I disagree.
I don't like when it comes to the final Deadites in these movies. Like the way that they look doesn't really bother me.
The one
Right.
from Rise was pretty bad.
The one
the
from
amalgamation. The amalgamation was pretty
I
bad.
like
See,
the
like-
amalgam.
The way it looks, I don't really care. I thought the amalgamation was pretty cool. Like if people are gonna complain how they look, then you have to take nostalgia out of it and realize that Evil Ash doesn't look very good.
That
Like-
this is
He's
again
the
what I,
Wario of the movie. I mean, that's fine. That's okay. I understand.
literally what I was thinking about, or like all the right. We get a whole like mini. We get mini Ashes and like. I don't know. I find it funny when people critique the CGI for that reason. Like, not saying you can't, but like
Yeah.
if you're gonna critique it, then you have to hold. Like maybe you could argue that Will isn't as cool as like the 2013 or the amalgamation, which I thought he was cool.
I
The
feel like
2013
like-
battle was crazy too.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that this Jeep falls on this lady and she pulls her arm out, like,
yeah.
and she's still alive?
I
all,
think-
all the final Deadites are pretty
bad.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, here's my thing. I think part of it for me is that you do so well in all the practical effects. You could just slightly adjust that. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Which
you
was
could
interesting.
have easily have done something similar, but like more practical.
which
If
is
that's
interesting
like,
because it was him in a suit. Like obviously they put CGI over him.
yeah,
But like it was him with like green screen. Like
yeah.
in my mind when I first watched it, I thought no, this is like completely animated in.
And no,
But
man.
like it is the real guy there. It's just hard of like when you do. If you would have done it practically, would people then have complained that?
Yeah.
Oh, why did they do it practically?
I think it's a percentage for me. Like I think if you did it exactly how you're saying, you need to do less CGI, more of the practicals, so that the small amount of CGI you are using still comes off as looking like more pristine than like something that's more 100% or looks almost 100% CGI. And if you don't know that he was in a bodysuit, that you
Yeah,
can
it
tell
is pretty
that-
over the top, especially compared to like the other Deadites we see. But again, I think part of it was probably to play into like, oh, 2013 and Rise had these really over the top endings. Like we have to try to make Will look as cool as possible. Like he's supposed to look like a Terminator villain
But-
instead of a human.
But then it doesn't come across that way. So as I was saying, you're like 0 for 3 when it comes for these ending things, you know?
Why
Like,
you didn't like Rise?
no, that was the one thing I said I hated
Oh,
was the
damn,
amalgamation.
okay.
I don't know. That was one of my gripes. And then I had told you, I think my only other gripe was the some other stuff. But we'll get to that later.
Which I'm hoping. I'll just throw this in now. It's been specifically stated that Wrath happens. It's already done filming.
Yeah,
It happens before, like, what happens in the very first movie.
it's in 1972.
They said they're going to use that kind of filming setup. I really,
Mm-hmm.
because fans keep asking for this, and I'm for it, and especially given, like, the context of this movie, I'm kind of really hoping for a return of the, like, really dumb-looking Evil Dead 1. Like, Evil Dead 2,
The
like,
white-
makeup.
the
like,
white eyes and
like
the,
you can tell these were like high school kids that did makeup, and it's like super campy, and it looks like the clay stuff and that. Like
claymation.
for rap, I'm totally for that, and I don't know. I really hope they go kind of over the top with that. I'm here for it.
Minus the CGI. I think I liked the setup of like her having to face the thing that like was her biggest
Her
like
abuser.
yeah her biggest
Right, the
fear
chainsaw
right.
was right there.
Oh, I knew. I was like,
Right
oh
there.
no! And then what did she end up going
A
with?
jackhammer.
The jackhammer.
I forgot that in Rise and 2013 they used the chainsaw.
Well, it was the same thing too, right? They set it up like, oh, she's going to the base, she's going to get something. It was the weed whacker, but it has the
Yeah.
metal spinning plate
Yeah.
instead of like an actual like weed whacker string. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, the chainsaw set up like, oh, she's going to grab it. But I liked it. I thought that it had a good amount of tension. It was the Deadite basically going after her. I thought it was kind of interesting that they went with the final tense moment or before the setup, throwing her like a million miles away into that thing that like was at first I thought it was a trash compactor, but it was a thing that's like basically gets the not cement, but it's like hot tar to, I'm assuming, put pavement down. So she was like stuck in a pit that way, and then it like jumped in there with her. He turned the thing on, and
yeah, I like that because it comes full circle to like the construction we heard during the funeral and stuff.
and I thought also full circle because they're very big on like always showing you something that's gonna come back, right? Like, ooh, the pin, look at this pin, I'm gonna use it to later. And then this one was the knife that she took from the dad as he was morphing into full deadite, she had that in her pocket, and she threw it into the tar and was like, "You want to go get it?" And the thing went for it, and then come to find out it was the or it was the knife, and then she found the dagger, which I didn't think she was gonna find because it was dark out there, and she dropped it like I don't even know where she dropped it.
I just want to know how. I think we see it fall out during when she's falling.
No,
off.
when they throw her, she like drops it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, how do you know where it is? Like,
now how do you explain this to the police when they show up? Is what I want to know.
Well, that's what I told him. I don't think the police came. I think it was just EMS.
Oh.
Because if it was if the police were there too, they would have taken the knife immediately, which I was like, that would make me mad because I'm like, well, now you're setting it up to where they're gonna be able to access this. They just gotta find where the police station is. And
I don't need any police or hospital. After watching the Halloween trilogy, I don't need any more hospitals. I don't need
with like one worker.
Not the Strangers, chapter 2.
With one worker, but like all these empty hospital beds.
Don't even get me
in
started.
Venus, Oregon.
Yeah, I think that's all I have to give. Really great movie. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the franchise.
I was telling him my gripes were at the beginning, where the whole like they're handing you things, and like I thought they were just gonna check off tropes, not like Evil Dead tropes, but like, oh, this is gonna be this thing, and it's gonna be like the whole. And Ida brought up this point when she goes down. Alice goes downstairs at one point. This is setting up the very tense, awkward dinner scene that basically shifts it from the first act of like, you know, them getting in the house and doing the things to like full blown, all right, we're going. She goes downstairs, Alice, to get plates and dishes to eat dinner, but they're in the basement and not in this giant kitchen that like has obviously all this room to put these plates and things. You're telling me that I have enough plates to feed, what is it, like 6 people? And then she like finds the dad, but they set up the whole, she's gonna find the dad, and she has these plates, and she's gonna get shocked, and she's gonna drop them, and then like, she's gonna, it's just like, there's so many things where they set up those little like moments. I'm like, it just bothers me like when you set things up so easily like that. But luckily once everything started, we were good. Like
for the plot.
But some of them were just like,
I know what you mean.
Really?
There's certain ways to do it. There's only one gripe I have. It's when we get introduced to the club for the first time. There's too many
the transition, that was the wildest.
Literally from like the car hit, which we get another shot of it, like we kind of rewind back. But the transition into like asses shaking and like rap music was very just like
transition.
Am I in the right movie?
That was wild. I don't think Evil Dead's ever had a transition that crazy.
Which it totally crossed like.
The vibe was
went
different.
over my head. That and like we get a lot of French rap music. I forgot that the director is French, which is like why the main character speaks a lot of French. But yeah, it was that one juxtaposition made me feel like that's like the most colorful scene in the whole movie.
I thought the opening scene was really good. So like the whole like with Jessica, right? Mm-hmm. You said Jessica from the last movie.
like before you get into that, I do like the opening, the cliche, like we're listening to the recordings. And, like, how they specifically show, like, him pulling the bag of daggers out, like, basically wakes up the entity that is Jessica. Continue. I do like that.
Yeah, so then you're hearing that, and then you have, the people that are fishing, and then again, going back to unhealthy relationships, like, the girlfriend on the phone is, like, chewing out the guy for, like, why didn't you answer the phone? He's like,
he said, sorry, I gotta answer, bro.
Unhealthy boundaries. But, yeah, that was interesting.
The
hooks were wild. The heating up the water, basically like making the entire pond like a boiling pot. And then the guy swims from the center of the lake to the shoreline. So I was like, how's this guy gonna get out of it? And he like makes it to the shoreline, and then he collapses because like he can't do it anymore.
Literally.
And and again, going back to, you have so much good practical effects, and then you ruin it with CGI. The Jessica Deadite like steps over him, but slightly steps on him and like grazes his arm, and it like fall off the bone. When you talk about ribs, it was like that, like just like slides off. I was like, oh my god!
They did a really good job with that whole scene and just the way to incorporate Rise into this movie, like having Jessica end up like being what happens with Will, and like that actually playing into the family dynamic. Just really good.
Yeah, that was the thing, and she even said that, right? She's like, I found you. Like that was Because what we find too is that Jessica Deadeye waits at the side of the road in the forest for like a really long time, and then something triggers her to like, this is what I need.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, what if that never happened? What if like he didn't? You know what I mean?
if Joseph would have actually stopped him?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I think all the can like how it decides to continue itself is very interesting. Like, is that like purposeful? Like it knew that at some point it would be able to get over there, or was it a matter of like circumstance? I don't know. Like, is it just a bunch of easy circumstances that like made this happen to connect them? I don't know. I think that's my thought. I want to know how exactly that ties in, like how the Deadites knew that was the car she needed to go to, and like how that worked. Because I don't know, it's weird. And like the lake just happens to be right by this house. That's wild. That's insane.
All right. Do you have any other closing thoughts, Jordan?
I feel like we get very little. We get it at least once. I feel like we get very little of the Evil Dead like pan thing in this movie.
Oh, the camera.
So we get it a few times, but I want it like every 5 minutes. No, that's it for me.
All right.
Just the director just running. He's doing the Sonic. He's doing this. Gotta go fast
with the butt cheeks hanging out.
No drones, bro.
Practical
effects.
No speed up.
But that was Evil Dead Burn. I know this was a little different compared to our. This was very different compared to our usual podcast.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the algorithm stuff. We would really appreciate it. The next episode will also be a little bit different because we have the honor of having an author, Alex Grass, joining for a guest appearance. So really excited to talk to him a little bit about his book that's coming out on July 15th. I'm not sure if this episode will go up before or after that. No, it would have to be after then because I have to edit this episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But until then, y'all have a good day.